We'll look at a totally different shot now. This one, I was standing on a rock, so not technically a water shot, I guess. This was part of a day-long photo shoot for the Red Paddleboard company, back when they announced their new line of paddleboards. This was a few years ago now. So this one stood out to me because it's a bit different to my normal kind of surf photos, and I thought it'd be nice to show you something with a bit of a different composition. But saying that, the light in this shot is going to be typical of quite a lot of similar photos that you shoot at dawn. This one was very early in the morning. It was colder than it looks here, which is true of most of the photos from the UK, I reckon. So let's have a quick look at the stats here. As you can see, the histogram in this case is kind of stacked up on this high end where the highlights are. So I'm going to develop mode so I can show you that properly. So there you go, look, whites, highlights, lots of highlights in there because of this nice big expanse of morning sky that I chose. So I think it's still fairly well exposed when you look at the details there. You can still see what's going on the board. I quite like this cool reflection down below, and obviously I've composed this so that I get the whole of the reflection in. I've stuck the horizon right in the middle, which is not what you'd normally expect from a rule of third style composition, and she's bang in the middle. But I quite like the horizontal, vertical. Quite cool, I think, in terms of composition. So there's a few things I want to show you on this one. First things first, let's have a look quickly at the white balance. Let's see if auto. I actually quite like the auto on this one. It's kind of made the orangey tones come out a bit more, and I quite like that because it is a shot from dawn. So I'll keep it with that, I think. If I hit auto, let's see what happens. It's darkened it down a bit. I don't really like that. I'm going to hit Control Z. So everything we do in Lightroom is non-destructive. I'm not editing the original file here. I'm just literally giving it some instructions. So you can feel free to tweak all these as much as you want. You've still got your original there if you need it. Let's go back. I think I don't mind the highlights being quite high. So I might lower them a little bit just to bring out a bit more of this colour in the sky. Shadows wise, I really like these contrasting shadows and bright edges. I think that's quite nice, and obviously this shot lends itself to that. So I'm going to leave that pretty much as it is. I quite like it. Clarity, you can really easily overdo clarity. As you can see, that looks pretty funky. And you start seeing, especially in landscapes like this, you start seeing this kind of halo effect when you go up high with clarity. If I double click to remove that, it's not as pronounced. Obviously, that maybe there was a bit of fog here, which means that's actually there. But if you experiment with the clarity, you'll notice that you probably just want a little tiny bit to bring out some of these textures rather than do anything else. Let's see what dehaze is going to do here. No, I don't like it. Way too much. So let's double click to remove that. Vibrance, again, easy to overdo. You can see that just looks bananas. But a little bit of it is quite nice sometimes. So let's try. Yeah, I quite like that. All saying morning to me. And I think in terms of like leveling this one, I think it's all right. I haven't got like the sea on the horizon, which is a big feature in a lot of lineup shots. Obviously I'm shooting towards the land, which I think is a great perspective if you can get it. Naturally in this case it's flat water, so it makes it a bit easier. Plus there's some rocks on this particular beach that enabled that quite well. So I think the horizon's fine. This main horizontal is nice and level, so let's leave that as it is. One thing I notice here is there's a little buoy in the background, and it's kind of messing with my nice symmetrical composition. So I'm going to get rid of this. That's actually really simple to do in Lightroom. You just go to this spot removal. It's called spot removal because it's, whoops, that's massive. Let's undo that. I'm scrolling down on my scroll wheel on my mouse to make this a lot smaller. Just drag it all the way down. Right, there we go. Now I can position it properly. So yeah, essentially what this does is, let's do that, and it just automatically selects another part of the image which it can pop into the position and cover up what you want to cover up, basically. So it's called spot removal because you'll often see at narrow apertures like f8 and higher numbers, you'll see little dots appearing in the image. I'll show you some examples, and that's because there's dust on your sensor. You can't see it at lower apertures like, well, this is f6.3, so you might be able to see some somewhere if we look hard enough. But I think you'll agree, if you didn't know that was there in the first place, if you hadn't seen me just do that edit, then you would never know that had been there. And you can, if you need to do this absolutely flawlessly, then you can do it in Photoshop. But I don't think I've ever come across a surf photo where I've had to an object that I had to delete that that required Photoshop. It was always just Lightroom for me, for my surf photography anyway. Although you can see here that there's the reflection of the edge of the buoy. I'm just going to go back in again. I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel down to reduce the size of this, and then I'm just going to paint out just that strip. And again, it just picks one that looks pretty good to me. And I think that we can improve that just slightly by, if you click there, you can move this around a bit. There you go. Is that better? Sometimes you have to move it around a little bit. Just if there's texture like that on the water, then you can find somewhere that lines up a little bit better. There we go. I probably didn't need to do that, but there you go. That's gone. Don't need to worry about that now. There's another thing here, this lens flare. There's some lens flare here which overlaps with the detail in the background, so I'm not going to worry about that. That can stay where it is, but this is quite distracting. It's a light part which is a long way away from the subject of the photo, so let's just go in, make our spot removal thing very big, click there, and gone. Done. There you go, that's got rid of that. Obviously it's a lot easier on this nice big open expanse of sky to get rid of stuff like that. I think that's that for that photo. If I just click reset, right, so that's what it looked like originally. Not too bad, to be honest. I think that's pretty good, but as you've seen, a couple of minutes in Lightroom, and I think we've improved that, certainly. And then obviously the other thing we can do is save this as a preset. And again, we're going to give it a sensible name. So let's call this one Land, because we've already got water. So let's do Land Dawn Orange. Give it a descriptive name so we can apply this later on if we need to. So let's hit create, and there we go. Got it there. So that looks good to me. I'm going to leave that one there, and hopefully you've seen that I like to just try and keep these quite authentic, despite removing little things in the background. But in terms of colours and in terms of not doing too much over editing. So that's that for this one, and we'll move on to our next one.